guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving this. Yeah, it looks like the key of a Duster, but this is actually the key of this car, the Datsun redi-GO. Now it gets this smart key. So yes, there is no central locking, but you can lock and unlock from here, which is a cool thing actually. And up front you get this bold Datsun grille, which looks nice, Datsun logo, and lights which are plain halogen lights, nothing fancy here. However, it gets LED DRLs here. Yes, that is so freaking cool. Design looks very nice, very curvy. Let's open the engine bay right away. Cab forward design, which means that the engine bay is very small. It's actually very small, and you know, it's also very light somehow, but there's insulation here that doesn't really work. This is obviously for the washer fluid, which has been placed in a quirky place. And here you can see the car. Well, it is compact. It gets really very small wheels. It doesn't get alloys. Obviously no car really gets alloy wheels at this price point. And these are 155 80 13 inches. That's written here. High profile tire. Actually, size is really very small, but this car actually looks very nice for a budget car. Datsun has done a great job by giving it all these lines. You can see these lines. Yeah, this one is running from here, going all the way and going upwards. It's actually a very attractive looking car for a small car. And I had gone to Japan, where I had actually done clay modeling on this particular vehicle before it was launched on the concept. Again, when the concept was showcased, it looked really very nice. 1 liter badging here, redi-GO written over here, Datsun logo here. Now over here also you can see, I mean, they have actually invested a lot of time and effort in making some curves on this car. Usually people do what, you know, cost cutting, they just put everything flat. So in terms of design, it's really nice. Vertical tail light also looks very nice on this car. And over here you get reflectors. Tires seem to be having less air at the rear. There's the exhaust, which is very small. Obviously ground clearance is one of the USPs of this car, which means driving over bad roads is not an issue at all as far as ground clearance goes. That is, don't believe that the ride is really great over here. However, you know, this wheel cap has got bent. I don't know how or why. And no internally adjustable rear view mirror, although it will fool you to think they are internally adjustable. No rear spoiler, no rear wiper washer either. Here is the boot of the car. Now the boot is actually decent sized, but it is actually smaller than its sibling, the Renault Kwid, unfortunately. And over here you get the spare tire, which gets a steel wheel because all the tires on this car are steel wheels. Actually, this is a decent sized boot. However, there's a big problem here, and the problem is that the loading lip is just too high, and it's also very narrow. So putting big stuff is not the easiest thing over here. However, you can, you know, push forward this seat for a one-piece flat folding. Yeah, you can fold this seat like this to increase luggage carrying capacity. And when you do that, you have to make sure that you have actually put the seat belt ahead. Yeah, now that has happened. Now you have closed this. Everything feels so light. With my pinky finger, I'm going to close the boot. Now I was actually cheating. Yeah, okay, it's not that easy. I need 2 fingers. Anyways, getting into the rear seat of this car. Oh God, so basically it locks and unlocks. But why is it not unlocking? It doesn't unlock the rear door, like really? Nah, it does actually. My bad there. Anyways, things have been flying all over the place, and you can see it gets no door pockets. But the problem here is there's exposed body panels which can be covered by opting for some accessories, which doesn't make sense at all. Why don't you give it stock? That should be done, right? No rear power windows here. Yeah, manually adjustable. And this is obviously the handle to close. You can see at the rear you don't get adjustable headrests because you don't even get them at the front either. However, the seat is a little bit high, which means that under thigh support is not bad. I mean, it's better than average. It's not the best. There is a magazine holder here, no scooped out seat back, but there's good amount of knee room and leg room, which is surprising. There's good amount of headroom as well. So amongst all small cars, this has a lot of space. In fact, Datsun claims that the redi-GO has the most space in the segment, and I totally agree with them because I feel quite comfortable. However, the car is narrow, which means that 3 people cannot sit at the rear comfortably. Now I've pushed my seat all the way behind. I'm reclined it as well because there's no steering adjust here. There's no adjustment for the seat height either, which means that in order to vlog properly and get the whole dashboard in the frame, I have to recline the seat like this, which is very uncomfortable for me. Anyways, you can see there is good amount of headroom. There's a handle to hold on to here, there's a handle to hold on to here, and the window area is actually large. So this is a very airy car as such, and I like the airiness. Now I don't know why it auto locks when someone closes the door. There's some issue somewhere. I don't know, it's probably with me, or you know, someone is playing tricks with me right now. Anyways, let's get into the driver's seat right away. So door pockets at the front are like really very small. In fact, good enough to put just these papers right now, which have been put here. This is to open the fuel lid, this is to open the boot, and there is a big fat dead pedal. Actually, there is none, but there is no clutch here, so there's good amount of space to rest your left foot as well. Now this is obviously for the headlight adjust, which is kind of quirky here. However, this is to open the engine bay, which again is kind of quirky here, and there's space to keep stuff here. Front seat is also quite comfortable, but no adjustable headrest. Straight away, let me tell you some nice bits about the car. Like over here around the AC vents around, it is the body color. Over here as well, which looks nice, but again, exposed metal is not a good thing here. You can see everything, it just reeks of cheapness somehow. And you also get the body color here on the 3-spoke steering. The horn is nice and decent. And let's turn on the car right away. Okay, you have to press the brake. comes to life, and you can hear that. There's space to keep stuff over here. There's a 12-volt charging socket here. There's space to keep stuff here. The glove box is like really very narrow, unfortunately. Let me push the seat behind right now, and over here you get a cup holder. There's space to keep your mobile phone. There's a bigger cup holder here. These are the power window controls for the front seats, and yeah, actually for the front. Meanwhile, this is the gear lever. Unlike the Quid, which gets a rotary gear selector, this one doesn't. It gets a proper gear lever, which is kind of unfortunate because it eats into the center console space, which could have been much better. And here also there's space to keep stuff. This is the handbrake of the car, and you know what, there are not many exposed parts as such. Panel gaps have been kept at bay as well. Steering wheel is nice to hold. This is obviously the control for the headlight, and the cluster is the same as the one which we see on the Go. And there's also a digital cluster which shows you a fuel meter along with an odometer and a gear position indicator. There's a trip meter as well. It also gives you real-time mileage as well as average fuel economy and a distance to empty meter too. However, the tachometer has been removed in lieu of the gear position indicator on the automatic variants. The steering feels supremely light. This is obviously the control for the wipers, and doesn't spray, but you have to manually operate the wiper separately to get that going. Yeah, and there's no intermittent wiper speed. You have either a slow speed or a high speed. That's about it. So cost cutting is there as well. This mirror is so light, it just goes all over the place somehow. It doesn't have any weight in it, and there's no dimming. There's no auto dimming. There's no manual dimming here. There's a light placement here. Actually, two settings for the light. One is when the door opens like this, and obviously when the door closes you can also open the light like that. Now the sun visor doesn't have a mirror, neither does the sun visor have a mirror here, which you do not expect at this price point, but there's a handle to hold on to here. There's no handle to hold on to here. The Bluetooth system isn't the easiest to pair. Audio quality isn't great either. You get Bluetooth, you get aux as well, and overall audio quality is far from perfect. Now this is to lock or unlock the door, so it does get central locking, which I missed in the earlier part because when I try to lock the door like this, it doesn't lock all the other doors, so I thought it should work both ways, but it doesn't. These are the controls for the air conditioning. The air conditioning works decently well. This is the hazard light switch, and this is a quirky air conditioning vent design which actually puts air right in the rear, which is also a good thing because otherwise rear passengers will not get much air. That said, the dashboard design actually looks quite nice. Now this being the 1 liter with the AMT, doesn't get the beige treatment, it gets the all black treatment, which kind of looks sporty here. But how is it to drive? Well, let's get going, but before that let's play a prank. Let me put the handbrake down. It is so light, you know, it's just going to move like that, and here we go. Let's get driving. Get it towards me, not further from me. Thanks.
What is this?
It is known as externally adjustable rear view mirror.
Are you serious? Oh god.
Alright, we're all set to go. Air conditioning off. We are in drive mode. Let me put it into sport, or rather manual mode. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, driving the motor, and wheel spins, and off we go. And every time a gear shifts now, it's like I've hit a big fat wall because there's so much jerkiness on upshift. That is one of the problems of this car, or rather of the AMT gearbox. Now this is the Datsun redi-GO 1 liter AMT, which means it's got a more powerful 1 liter engine, and this 1 liter engine produces 68 horsepower and 91 Newton meters of torque. Compared to the 800cc engine, it is dramatically better because there's just so much more punch on offer comparatively. It doesn't feel sluggish anymore like the 800cc model. However, NVH is still not its suit because there's a lot of engine noise which creeps into the cabin. There's also a lot of road noise, there's also a lot of wind noise, and you know what, brakes are not that good either because when you stand hard on the brakes you will be out of the car, I believe, because I mean it skids. ABS is not there either. Here we go, left foot on the brake. Yeah, you can imagine how much torque is there. No, there isn't much torque. The problem is not about having too much punch. The problem is that the tires are pretty much crap on this car, and I would say that the mid-range is quite flat here. Yeah, it does feel peppy in the city because like really you don't need much horsepower there, but overall I would say performance is just about average for a 1 liter engine. Especially the NVH really disappoints here. Now this is of course the 1 liter 3-cylinder, which means there's so much vibes on the steering. At idle you can feel a lot of vibes each and everywhere you place your hands or legs or anything of that sort. And yeah, you can hear there's so much noise on offer. There's just so much noise on offer. And then you have a gear shift, which is like another issue here because the gear shifts really lag. I mean, you just feel like you've hit the wall, but honestly it's not about driving it flat out or heavy on the foot. Rather, drive it smoothly, sanely, and then you would really revel in the fact that the performance is peppy. The gear shifts are actually smooth unless and until you don't go near the red line and ask for an upshift, because near the red line, or rather when you want aggressive shifts, this gearbox just disappoints massively. Now this car obviously doesn't have a tachometer, but around 4,500 RPM is where it starts getting really very stressed you should not take it near the red line, because when you do so, you can hear just too much of the engine and things which are not even there in the car. It just feels too stressed somehow, and compared to the Alto, this engine just doesn't stand a chance, especially the Alto K10, because that engine just feels so much better. I'm not saying this engine is bad at all, I'm just saying that it really lacks in terms of NVH, and when you compare to the Alto, you can see that, you know, the Alto just feels more refined, more punchy, and just better in many ways than one. Touch your hand on the steering once.
It's doing tuk 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 tuk.
It's like a bullet, right? The vibes is so much. I can feel the vibes on the seat. So they've really done a lot of cost cutting in terms of insulation, and I mean, a Japanese engine having these amount of vibrations is just not acceptable somehow. Anyways, right now in the city, you can see I'm driving with part throttle, and on part throttle everything seems fine. Yeah, as long as you don't get in the top end, because in the top end you can hear a lot, and then the gear shift also bogs down. Now AMT gearboxes are like this, but this is not among the best examples of an AMT box, because some of the other AMT boxes have been slightly smoother. This one not so much. A 0 to 100 kilometers per hour should take around 18.5 seconds, which although is decently quick for a car of this character, it just is the hairy feel at high speeds which scares you off, because this car is so light, it gets affected by crosswinds quite easily. And more than that, the steering has absolutely zero feel, not a single sort of feel in the steering. There's no feel whatsoever. I don't understand how there's no feel in the steering. It, you know, even at lower speeds there's no feel in the steering. It is light, which is a boon, but it just doesn't give any feedback whatsoever compared to even that car right ahead of us, the Alto. This steering is far from being any good at all. I mean, you know, it just tracks very weirdly, and there's a lot of body roll as well. Somehow the suspension is on the firm side, but you know, the car is really very tall, and that results in a lot of body roll and a lot of body movement. You can see the steering aim. I mean, there's so much slack in the center. I don't know why that has been dialed in. Could have been slightly more smoother, but then again, I am talking from an enthusiast perspective, and this car is just far away from being an enthusiast delight, or either even something which will appeal to an enthusiast, even 1%, because I mean, the steering is really very bad on this car as far as feel and feedback goes. But being light and having a very short turning radius, it is a very maneuverable vehicle. In fact, maneuverability is really nice on this car. It is so easy to twirl and park, and obviously that lends it great appeal for those who want to buy this as their first time car. And talking about first time cars, the pricing ranges from 3.2 lakhs for the base 0.8 liter engine, goes all the way till 5 lakhs for the top of the line AMT 1 liter. And yeah, pricing is very attractive. They have nailed the pricing. However, you have to realize one thing, that there's a lot of cost cutting involved here somehow, and that is one of the reasons for the attractive pricing. Now you can see there's a Innova Krista here, and you can see that Lexus. I mean, both of them have similar tail lights, or am I missing something? Oh my god, that's the LX 570.
Yeah,
that guy has a fuel pump.
Yeah,
he has a fuel pump.
Huh.
Oh my god. And talking about fuel pump, this car should return a mileage of around 15 to 17 kilometers per liter, which is not bad. It is actually very frugal, but it's very light, and I mean, at idle the vibes are just too much.
ये कब shift होगा क्या?
कल
God. तुम लोग अपनी गाड़ियों पे नाम क्यों लिखाते हैं? भूल जाएंगे क्या? अरे ये ब्रेक!
Yeah, the brakes are not really strong, and ABS is also missing, unfortunately, at least on our test car.
There's nothing in this car. There's no airbag.
There is an airbag for me. There is no airbag for you.
So please drive slow.
And off we go. So this Datsun, or any Datsun for that matter, which is on sale, is not about driving fun. It's about practicality. This is one of the few cars where I don't feel cramped on the driver's seat, or not so much in the rear seat either. So yes, definitely I'll give a thumbs up for the interior packaging and space. However, in terms of the mechanicals, yeah, they are strong, but just too much vibes inside. And definitely the ride could have been better, the handling could have been better, the steering could have been better as well. I mean, it just doesn't feel connected at all. But for the price, it's a very attractive car. But you know what? This is Datsun's top selling car in the Indian market. Actually, this is Nissan's top selling car in the Indian market. It sold around 950 units last month. Now, when we talk about that, it might look like a very low number, and it is, because 1000 units from a brand like Nissan is nothing at all. Even the Kicks isn't selling, unfortunately, even though that's a brilliant car and probably better than the Creta as well. So what is going wrong with the Datsun brand? Firstly, the brand is unknown, and Maruti's brand is too strong. So someone who's buying a car for the first time will close their eyes and go for a Maruti, because Maruti is known, you get service centers everywhere. But someone who's not really buying a first time car and wants something other than a Maruti will look at Datsun and be like, oh, this is something I should buy. But then someone who's ready to experiment with a Datsun is also ready to experiment by buying a used car, and that's where Datsun falters, because people who actually think of buying a Datsun, they end up buying a second hand car, because again, they feel that the risk is there in both the sides, because Datsun is relatively an unknown brand for them, although Datsun has a lot of legacy and history. But that is how things are right now, and that's one of the reasons why Datsun has not been able to crack the Indian market. Plus, in terms of packaging, yes, it could have been better. It's not as good as the Quid in multiple ways, especially, you know, it's not as... What happened to your glasses?
Nothing.
So it's not as good as the Quid in certain ways, because the Quid has that muscular feel, plus Renault has been able to give certain features which have really upped the appeal of the car. Like over here you miss the touchscreen. I don't understand, when both the cars are based on the same platform and having the same engines, why Datsun has actually given it, you know, less appeal, while Renault has done a great job by giving it a lot of appeal. And thus people who want to buy a small car, but it should not be a Maruti or a Hyundai or a Tata, they end up buying a Renault Quid and not a Datsun redi-GO, which is quite unfortunate, because Datsun has the capability of making this vehicle even better in multiple ways, but unfortunately they have not done that. Anyways, as you can see, the car is okay, all right, but you know, could have been a lot better. All good, all fine?
Nothing is good, nothing is fine with this car. And this is not a car.
This is not a car because it's not a Sunny. Anyways guys, this is my small video of the Datsun redi-GO, and to be honest, yeah, certain things could have been, a lot of things actually could have been better, but you know, Datsun will get there eventually. For a first time small car buyer, well, it is difficult to ignore brand Maruti, because a first time car buyer is probably in tier 4 markets where Datsun is not even present. So guys, if you like this video, you know what you have to do. Give it a thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys.
Oh, did it? My phone!
I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye. What happened? Where's your phone?
My phone, dude! It's... What the... My phone is there, you see?
Relax, let me stop the car.
What's up? My phone!
I was just demonstrating body roll.
Yaar, you and your body roll.
Gearbox is so slow with shift. 1 second. I'm so sorry for this, guys. Someone's phone has fallen down. Say please.
Hello, गलती मेरी नहीं है, तुम्हारी डस्टिन whatever this